Well-known Chicago area rapper was killed in a drive-by shooting early this morning in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. 31-year-old Tristan Hamilton was shot multiple times. According to the Sun-Times, he raps under the name FBG Cash.
A Southside rapper was killed this morning after a gunman armed with a rifle opened fire on his car. 31-year-old Tristan Hamilton performed under the name FBG Cash. Police say he was driving near 81st and Ashland when the shooting occurred. A 29-year-old woman who was asleep in the car was seriously wounded. Hamilton was part of a group of rappers known as the Flyboy Gang. Nearly 2 years ago, another member of that group, FBG Duck, was killed on the Gold Coast. His real name was Carlton Weekly. 4 members of the street gang have been charged in that murder.
June 10th, 2022. The morning sun had barely risen over Chicago's South Side when Tristan Hamilton, better known to the hip-hop community by the stage name FBG Cash, had no idea that after enduring through the rough lifestyle he had lived and finally seeing his way to success, that his life would be lost that morning. At approximately 5:30 a.m. in the 1600 block of West 81st Street in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, FBG Cash sat in his vehicle, a 2020 Ford Edge, with a 29-year-old female companion asleep in the passenger seat. The streets were quiet, almost peaceful in those early hours before the city fully awakened. But that tranquility was about to be shattered in the most violent way imaginable. According to Chicago Police Department reports, a black 4-door sedan, possibly a Cadillac, pulled up and cut off FBG Cash's vehicle. What happened next would send shockwaves through the Chicago drill rap community and beyond. 2 assailants emerged from the Cadillac with weapons drawn. In an instant, the quiet morning erupted into chaos as gunfire tore through the air. FBG Cash, realizing the danger, attempted to defend himself and his companion. Reports indicate that in a desperate fight-or-flight response, he drew his own handgun and returned fire before attempting to flee the vehicle. But the attackers were relentless. When Chicago police officers arrived at the scene, they discovered a horrific sight. FBG Cash lay unresponsive, face down in the grass at 1623 West 81st Street, while his vehicle remained parked in the middle of the street at 1627 West 81st Street. At the scene, investigators recovered 23 spent shell casings, including 14 from a rifle, painting a picture of the overwhelming firepower used in the attack. Tristan Hamilton had been struck at least 13 times by bullets. He was immediately transported to Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, but despite the rapid response, he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The 29-year-old woman who had been asleep in the vehicle sustained gunshot wounds to her left arm and upper back. She was rushed to the same hospital in serious condition, her life hanging in the balance. According to witness statements and police reports, the female companion was interviewed by Officer Rodriguez at the hospital. She detailed from her perspective what happened after shots were fired, stating she observed the suspect vehicle fleeing the scene westbound from the location of the shooting. The suspect demographic descriptions detailed a black male between 5 feet 10 inches and 6 feet 2 inches tall, wearing black gym shoes, black jeans, and a black hooded sweatshirt. What makes FBG Cash's death even more tragic is that it was entirely preventable. Just 23 hours before he would be murdered, on June 9, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., FBG Cash spoke with fellow Chicago rapper Ricko Recklez via video call. This conversation would prove to be their last, and it revealed just how aware Cash was of the danger he faced.
I'm like, where you at? He like, man, I'm in Iraq. I say, when you just in Houston? He like, yeah. He pull out a Draco with a fucking clear clip. Yeah, I'm in Iraq, but I'm good though. I say straight up, as a brother, as a friend, I say, Man, bro, I ain't gonna lie, Scud. That don't mean nothing. Everybody got them bitches, Scud. Man, go back to Houston, Scud. They was showing you love out there. You was out there in the Rolls Royce. You was shooting your videos, and he was going somewhere. Even though he had to make hella diss songs, like, but he was going somewhere. Like, and I'm like, bro, get back to that good environment, Scud. Chicago snaked out for they back door. Like, you ain't gonna be able to do your thing. Man, fuck that. Ain't nobody gonna do shit. I got this Drake. I say, folks, you ain't Lil Wayne, Scud. You ain't the only nigga with a Drake, Scud. Everybody got Drake, Scud. Like, everybody got switches and shit. Like, you got a switch in your Drake? Like, it's busting in the rack for real. That nigga died at like 5 o'clock that morning. I had a conversation with him at like 4 in the afternoon. He died at 5 o'clock that morning.
Ricko Recklez, knowing the brutal reality of Chicago's gang warfare and the specific danger FBG Cash faced given the ongoing feuds, again tried desperately to talk him out of his decision to parade himself in the streets of Chicago. Sadly, Ricko Recklez failed in persuading his friend to leave. FBG Cash remained in Chicago, confident in his ability to protect himself. That would be the last time they ever got the chance to talk. Less than 24 hours later, FBG Cash would be dead, and Ricko Recklez would be left with the painful knowledge that he had tried to save his friend's life. After FBG Cash's murder, Ricko Recklez would get word of what happened and revealed some rare insight into what was allegedly being said about the circumstances surrounding his friend's death. According to talks that had been passed on among those in the Chicago gang community, a disturbing theory emerged about the woman who was with FBG Cash that fatal morning. I do respect
this about Scud. They say that when he knew it was over for him, he looked at the bitch and clapped her ass. Oh, fold him out and clapped her ass too. They said when he knew the bitch set him up, he fat her ass up. Cause as a nigga, if you gonna go out, that's how you go though in front of him though. R.I.P. Trouble in front of him grave. Like, nigga, that's my big brother in Atlanta. He had died on he fucking with a bitch. And like her nigga came home and then he died. I wish he would have shot that bitch first too. Fuck you talking about? These hoes grind, they trying to set you up. That's why I only want one bitch. These hoes will set you up. Just give me one bitch. I don't need hella hoes. Give me one bitch.
Ricko Recklez claimed that based on street intelligence, the bullet wounds inflicted upon the female companion in the vehicle might have been done so by FBG Cash himself. The theory suggested that when Cash realized he had been set up to be murdered, he may have attempted to take out the woman he suspected of betraying him before he died. This would explain why both victims were found with gunshot wounds, despite police initially reporting that Cash had returned fire at his attackers. While these claims remain unverified by official police reports, they highlight a tragic reality of street life. Trust is a rare commodity, and betrayal can come from the most unexpected places. Whether the woman was involved in setting up FBG Cash or was simply an innocent victim caught in the crossfire may never be fully known. What is certain is that someone close enough to know Cash's location and movements that morning had provided that information to his enemies. On February 21st, 2022, approximately 4 months before his death, Tristan Hamilton, aka FBG Cash, would add fuel to an already burning flame by committing one of the most disrespectful acts imaginable in Chicago's gang culture. FBG Cash traveled to O-Block territory and took a photograph at King Von's mural, flipping his middle finger while posing with the caption, "Whole world witnessed Yo Main Sniper get his SHYT splack," a reference to King Von's death in Atlanta. This act was more than just a photo. It was a direct provocation, a calculated insult designed to enrage King Von's associates and supporters. In Chicago's drill culture, disrespecting the dead, especially at their memorial sites, is considered one of the gravest offenses. By posting this image on social media, FBG Cash was essentially painting a target on his own back. The photo quickly went viral, drawing responses from multiple O-Block and OTF affiliates. Lil Durk, King Von's mentor and close friend, was particularly incensed. According to FBG Cash's own account in a later interview on the No Jumper podcast, Durk sent him a text message challenging him to take the infamous photo. "Go over there and do that and see what happened to you." Cash quoted Durk as saying. Cash's response, "I'm outside right now," meaning he was already near King Von's mural, ready to take the disrespectful photograph. On March 18, 2022, about a month after the mural incident, Lil Durk responded to FBG Cash's disrespectful gesture in his song, Computer Murderers. In the track, Durk addressed the mural incident directly, making it clear that he had not forgotten or forgiven the slight. The response served as both a warning and a promise of consequences to come. Durk's response wasn't just about defending King Von's memory. It was about maintaining respect and authority in a culture where perceived weakness could have deadly consequences. By publicly calling out FBG Cash, Durk was sending a message to his associates and rivals alike. Disrespect would not be tolerated. The exchange highlighted a tragic reality of drill rap culture. The music and social media posts weren't just entertainment or expression. They were real-time documentation of ongoing conflicts that often led to violence. Every diss track, every social media post, every provocative photo added fuel to fires that were already burning out of control. Arriving just a few weeks before his death, FBG Cash was involved in a situation where bullets were sprayed into the car he was in. What's eerily prophetic about this situation is that it would be the exact same setting that would ultimately take his life weeks later. It was a clear warning, a message that his enemies knew his patterns and were coming for him. But FBG Cash survived that first attempt, and he opened up about the altercation in a rare interview on The Drio Show. FBG Cash recalled being at the home of a female companion at around 4:20 a.m. in the morning when he decided to leave. As he drove through the streets of Chicago, his vehicle suddenly came under fire. Bullets tore through the car, but miraculously, neither Cash nor his companion were seriously injured. The assailants fled before Cash could fully respond. In that situation, life was foreshadowing something waiting to happen. It was up to FBG Cash to adjust his lifestyle and movements and heed the warning signs. He had been given a chance to change his patterns, to leave Chicago, to take the threats against him more seriously. But maybe pride played a part in FBG Cash repeating the same mistake later on. Or perhaps he felt trapped by circumstances, unable to leave without appearing weak or abandoning his responsibilities to his crew. What makes FBG Cash's death even more tragic is that he had a way out. His music career was on the rise, not in Chicago, but in Houston, Texas. According to Ricko Recklez and others close to Cash, he had been building a following in Houston, performing shows, connecting with local artists and producers, and creating opportunities far from the dangerous streets of Chicago. Houston represented a fresh start, a chance to pursue his music career without the constant threat of violence that shadowed his every move in Chicago. The city had embraced him, and he was beginning to establish himself in a new market where his past affiliations and beefs wouldn't follow him. Ricko Recklez's final conversation with Cash on June 9, 2022, centered entirely on this opportunity. Ricko pleaded with his friend to go back to Houston, to focus on his music, to leave the rack and its dangerous politics behind. The advice was sound, practical, and potentially life-saving. But FBG Cash chose to stay. The reasons for his decision to remain in Chicago that fatal weekend may never be fully understood. Perhaps he had business to handle, obligations to his crew, or personal matters that required his presence. Maybe he felt he couldn't leave without losing credibility or abandoning people who depended on him. Or perhaps his pride wouldn't allow him to be seen as running from his enemies.